Oh, right. You're tuned into Bare Knuckle Bowker, and very excited to be talking to an individual who's fighting at BKB 52, the Foxwoods card, and very excited to be talking to an individual who's making his debut in the Mighty Trigon. Certainly not a stranger to the world of bare knuckle in general, but we'll be stepping into that famed Mighty Trigon, and we'll be taking on Bubba McDaniel, and does so on March 28th. Very excited to have Taylor Bull back on Bare Knuckle Bowker today. How you doing, man?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
No, it's awesome, man, and very exciting times. I mean, you've held Havoc FC gold in the world of bare knuckle fighting, and obviously have had multiple BKFC bouts as well. I guess what led to this BKB debut effort getting locked in?
Well, there was after the last show in Michigan, um, things were just moving along, and they just took a different direction. Really, no hard feelings with BKFC. Um, this was just an opportunity. My manager, the relationship we have with Mel, and just it just felt right, and it was on the table. So I thought, yeah, let's go for it. I mean, BKB's doing a wonderful show with what they do. You know, they just finished doing a show in London. So they've got a bit of history, and it's exciting. I always wanted to fight in the Trigons. So that was, yeah, I mean, it just felt right. It was fitting. And I tend to lead with my intuition. I go, and not to sound like a sissy, but I think with my heart I feel, and it just felt right. So I was all for it. We signed, looking at doing 4 fights in the next 20 months, starting on March 28th. So one of my concerns, I guess, was I needed, because after the show in Michigan, that was my first fight out of the country, and I had experienced the nuances of fighting abroad, and got a bit rattled. Um, didn't really show up to that fight. Did fought through it, fought hard, did what I could, but definitely got outboxed, and just didn't really show up. Um, and I know why. So there was a moment there where I was a bit concerned. I was kind of upset with myself because I wasn't as upset as I thought maybe I should be. But then I remembered, no, it was actually immediately after the bout. I recognized, I know very well what I did wrong, and it's not that hard of a fix. I'm just very confident after my show in Michigan. I know exactly how to dial in. And it took me a while to get to that point of knowing, but I really kind of showcased that, I guess, back home. But that was the thing that became my comfort zone. I figured it out in that environment. Back home, whether it's BC, Alberta, I've just gotten comfortable here, and I was really turning it up. But that fighting, it's not like I wasn't used to the big show or the flights or the media. I really was. I'm very seasoned with all that. But yeah, I mean, I just got rattled, and there's this, that's what it was. But I know, um, in the experience, I know where the little spots where I made my mistakes, and so I'm very excited to showcase what I learned moving forward into going to Connecticut, because I'm super confident, and I'm ready to show that. And there's a difference between my show in Michigan and what I've been doing, whether it's with Havoc or even when I went to box. I was able to flip the switch, and I wasn't able to do that in Michigan. And as I said, I don't believe I really showed up. I pushed through, but I don't think I really showed up to that one. And I, I'm I'm fixing to show up to this one, and kind of utilize. It's always been a learning curve. Like I said many years ago, I'm figuring this shit out. I haven't really, never really had a coach. Just kind of trial by fire, and that journey continues. So it's brought me to BKB, who I have tons of respect for, and kind of checks off the box of like, I need to fight abroad. They don't really come to Canada. So they're going to give me that. And then they have a world title. These are things I want, things I need. Just seemed fitting.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask what the big takeaways were from that Joseph Creer fight and everything like that. It does seem like you, I guess, developed a certain something
Oh
from that.
man,
I guess, yeah.
that was a,
No, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, that was really fun. That was really fun. The fight itself, I don't really put too much weight on it because, like I said, I don't feel like I showed up. So it was kind of just it just transpired as it did, and in my mind, I know from the get go things are different when I show up, and so, like I said, I didn't dwell too hard on that because I've been through this, and yeah, it's not to take anything away from the win. Joseph is an amazing boxer. He really outboxed me, and I just didn't have that. I had his length, I had his reach, I dialed him in on the range, but I just wasn't able to attack when I had my opportunities. And yeah, I took a bit of damage, I think 16 stitches, and crossed some wires there to where um, I had to kind of reflect on what had happened because after, things were a bit fuzzy. He caught me behind the ear, which were discombobulated. It was fun. I mean, it was fun. The show was fun. They put on a beautiful show. BKFC is an amazing organization. They do wonderful. They're doing wonderful stuff, and that was really fun. But like I said, I know exactly where I made my mistakes, and I was kicking myself, but I didn't do it for too long. Like I said, I kind of got over that in a hurry and was like, well, I know exactly what I need to do. And I kind of was waiting around to see what BKFC would give me. Um, and I just, like I said, it kind of just all fell together in a way that I don't really, I haven't had much. My management is a good friend of mine. We've just been doing what we do, and I don't take really directions. I got told by other agencies, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. And here I got managers trying to tell me what I'm going to do with my career, and I just think, well, that's a bit odd. I said, this is not really how I see this working. So I turned down a handful of opportunities. There was another agency with my friend Kevin Smith, and it just, like I said, it just didn't settle. They offered beautiful stuff, and it's amazing what they're doing. But I just felt like I just wanted to stay with Jeff, my good friend, and he's, we've kind of been journeying my career together. He's been a big part of me and my students, my nephews who have fought, and we also, he's just a big support in the community, the super fan as they would be, right? And
Hmm.
I mean, I just felt like I was going to stick with him. He was talking with, he was making the deals with BKFC, and then this BKB thing kind of floated on the table, and yeah, like I said, we were just kind of waiting for something, and like I said, when it came and floated in, it felt right, and I thought, no, this seems like the thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, no, it transpired.
And you mentioned, I guess, a couple times like the desire to want a one day fight in the Trigon. Like, what was it about the Mighty Trigon that really drew you in? I mean, it's obviously a very compact space and, very much resonates well with people who have like those high octane, exciting fighting styles, which you have. So I would presume that would be the reason. But what draws you to the Mighty Trigon, I suppose?
It's just an interesting concept. When it first came out, I had my eye on the sport. I was watching, it's got a little bit of history and there's been some drama, and it's been interesting to watch. But when they come out and patent that stuff, and it's a cool, it's just it's not just something, you can box in any old squared circle, octagon, and all these things, right? But if you've never been in the Trigon, well, then you can't say you've on the Trigon. And I think it's a neat thing because I watched that come about and I thought, hey, that's cool. Because I mean, it's creative. They took this thing and kind of made it their own, and it was distinctive from everything else that's going on, and just it's good business. So I appreciate their art, the art of it, and I'm excited to test out their surface, smallest combat surface in the sport. Um, I think I cut angles very nicely. Quite often you don't see me going straight back, so I'm not too concerned with the limited floor space. And I love to bang. So I think I'm looking forward to it. It's no, it's not much different than the 16-foot rings we have at any of these local clubs. So yeah.
No, it's just exciting. Like when I saw the bout announcement, it made a world of sense and had all the ingredients for a very exciting fight. And part of that does include your opponent, Bubba McDaniel, who does have that broader experience too, has fought some tenured guys like Zion Tomlinson, senior, former BKFC champion Chris Camozzi. So yeah, definitely like a great kind of opponent to really, I guess, make a mark in the Trigon and set yourself off on a good path there, I would think.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him as an opponent. Like he's a seasoned vet. There's absolutely nothing I'm taking about him lightly. Gonna come in, and I don't really get too fixated on my opponent. Um, Hesitation, causes problems. I come in with my game, and I need to just focus on that. Um, what he does is, that's up to him. I'm gonna push my game, bring my pace, and yeah. I mean, I just me on my A game. He's gonna have a hard time. So, and I think about that. I guess as a fighter, you think that with everybody. Um, but I'm just, yeah, super confident. Camp's been going great. I feel great, feel healthy. Um, Looking forward to, what I hope to be an exciting fight. But you never know, because you just never know.
And there's a certain, I mean, there's been some mention about like the Canadian scene, like I guess through the lens of like you winning the Havoc title and I guess contextual elements like that. But Jesse Ronson headlining this event, a Canadian trying to vie to become a bare knuckle champion and everything. I mean, that seems like an exciting outing against Cub Hawkins there. Like, do you have any thoughts on that Ronson versus Hawkins headlining fight?
To be honest, I'm very tunnel vision in my life. I love combat sports, but if I don't know them personally, I'm probably not following them. There's a few select uh, big superstars that I'll tune into. I get that question quite often. Are you watching the fights? I don't. I love fighting. I'm not, and I love supporting. Um, but in all honesty, I'm not really dialed in as to who's even on the card. My focus has just been on my opponent and what I'm gonna do. Even when I would be like for the Havoc shows, I wouldn't watch any of it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to. I just stay in my zone, and then when it's go time, it's go time. And if I wasn't main event, then I'll watch after, sure. But I typically don't, yeah, like to bother myself with watching any of the fights. And so in this instant, of course, I'm going to tune in after. So I'll probably after the event, I'll probably know more and have more of an inkling on my favorites as to who's on the card.
No, I mean, I hear you.
I
And
watched the
yeah, no, sorry, go ahead.
no, I watched the London show last week. That was a beauty card. Not too sure who's who. Like I said, I'm not necessarily plugged in to the standings at all. Um, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just it's a select. There's select pay-per-views. I'll actually earmark. Um, I guess it's an odd thing. A lot of times people are like, "Oh, really? You don't watch?" I don't know. I'm a fan
Mm-hmm.
of the sport. Just, yeah, I guess as individuals, it's like hockey. I don't really care about NHL. But if I know you, even whether it's beer league or if it's minor, my nephew or someone's playing, I'm 1,000% into it. But if we're cheering on Connor, well, I don't know Connor McGregor. What the heck do I care? Yeah, I'm not even. I don't get, I guess, star-studded in any sense Um, but when there's a good show, when they're a good fight, and that's what I mean. After this show, when I tune in, I'll probably have a couple of favorites to name drop after the next in the next interview.
No, that makes sense. I mean, you, I guess, pour yourself into so many endeavors too. Like, I mean, obviously, combat sports is a piece for you, but I mean, musician, actor, writer, it always seems like you're engaging in some like new kind of thing too. So it kind of makes sense. You have so many tendrils of your life that you pour into and whatnot. So maybe not as much bandwidth for taking it in that kind of way.
Yeah, bandwidth, that's the perfect term for it. I'm pretty stretched out on my bandwidth, and happily though, I love to over, I'm just I love what I do. Whether it's the community work, which is there's ups and downs. It's a love-hate relationship sometimes. But other than that, my aspirations, as you mentioned, music, which is kind of just a side quest. I don't really have any big vision for that. It's more therapeutic than anything. But the acting, I was actually pending shooting a short film. I don't think it's happening now. We missed on the snow. I don't think there's enough snow. There's this issues going on. We're probably gonna kick that can down the road some. It wasn't my intentions to get really into acting wholeheartedly until my fighting's done. I don't really believe in doing too much. I think multitasking makes you bad at everything. So right now it's kind of just work and fighting. And I like that, two things at a time. I got rid of school not too long ago. I got my diploma as a business administration. So that's kind of done. I can move from that. And so it'd be my second diploma. It's a little bit of education anyway, better late than never. But I'm now just working and fighting, and so that fighting is basically the focus, and that's I think what it takes when we're looking at, well, we want to be a world champion. To be a world champion, um, you know, gotta go all in.
And it's exciting that you're locked in a multi-fight deal with them and that you have this path within that multi-fight deal to carve out that kind of path towards getting a shot at a championship. This would seem like a very exciting time for you. I mean, echoing the sentiments we've mentioned before, where you're squarely focused on Bubba McDaniel and the immediate task at hand, but it seems like a very exciting time in Taylor Bull's life in a fighting specific context, but perhaps in general too.
Yeah, no, it feels. I've been doing contract work for the last year and some now. So I go from, check to check, but it almost feels like this contract I signed. It's like I'm on payroll, like I can see, okay, they say, within 20 months I'll have 4 fights, and that's a busy, when it comes to bare knuckle. I mean, you got, especially when you're in the big leagues, it's not, it's not always pretty. I got 16 stitches the last one, and it happens quick, right? So I mean, you want to have a little more interval in between your fighting. I would do 4 fights in a year with MMA boxing, but I don't know if you're not running through guys. It's one thing if you're running through guys, like when I was back in Havoc there, I had a couple of quick ones there, and I kind of got away unscathed. And so you do that, that's great, but I'm not really anticipating much of that. I'm expecting the best guys. So, I know Bubba's coming off a loss. So am I. I know he's not looking so hot with his bare knuckle record, but you don't take nothing from a man who signs a contract. I mean, he's coming to fight just like I am. So we're gonna, first off, I guess, as entertainers, I assure you we'll be putting on a show. Um, Looking forward to the best Bubba there is. The best that can show is welcome.
No, for sure. I see you're getting in those good rounds at Southside Legion Boxing. So doing your thing, another day of hard work as you're, very accustomed to at this point. So love to see it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty amazing how many hard things I I do, and it's funny. Not even fight camp. Shit, that's the regular life. There's far too many hard things, but you know what? That's just become the lifestyle. It's been 18 years of doing this, all pro. I never did amateurs, so just jumped in trial by fire. But yeah, it's really become a lifestyle. I highly doubt I'll ever not be fight ready, even after my career's over, which is something that I just grew up. That's, kind of how I grew up. So always fighting, in my mind, it was always, you got to be ready to fight. As a professional, kind of applies the same thing, but now it's just more strategic, more, I guess, slightly scientific, just more knowledgeable of what I'm doing. I feel very seasoned when I start to coach or when I start to teach. It really just rattles out. But if you were to ask me if I know how much I know, I honestly probably couldn't write it on, I couldn't start a list, but once we get into it, it really just pours out. And I guess that's just comes from passion, I guess, and consistency.
Yeah, and I think just your broader journey and how you seem to approach anything you immerse yourself in kind of speaks to that. Just like it seems like a very forward thinking kind of pursuit. Like it's just more about like sticking to the pursuit than it is about like I don't know, like particular like check mark kind of points. Like some people kind of like smell the flowers or are very like accomplishment specific focused. Whereas for you, it kind of just seems like enjoying the totality of the journey and being consistent about it.
I always say I just want to do the thing. I just want to do the thing. I don't care what someone says about me doing the thing, how many people want to see or hear or watch me do the thing. I just want to do the thing. And if I just focus on doing the thing, then everything else just kind of comes together. And with the fighting, I started, I was a natural, so I have big ambitions. World champion is no small feat. So with that, I very much confident in that. But even with the music stuff, I don't think of myself as anything spectacular, but I'm just committed to doing the thing. And I know by doing it, there's more to it than just what people think. There's the cathartic nature of it. And that's with all art. So I'm very excited to do acting and do these other things because they are very much expanding my being, whether it's, my experience, also just how I think, how I see. Like this is the epitome of life, man, is experience. So I'm super blessed to have, I guess, in a sense, gotten this second chance at my career, maybe third or fourth. Shit, I don't even know. But this little tail end gust of wind I've caught, which is, I guess, what I needed to kind of wrap my head around what I needed to do. And I feel very much like a veteran, even though, it's been very, it's been a weird career, but I feel very much like a veteran who knows what he's doing. And I'm excited to show that. I think I have been, but it's just this little last loss with this whole global contender thing. I think that for myself, I kind of got to break through that barrier that I set up, and and I'll be very much happy with that.
Well, it just kind of seems like that next hurdle to overcome in a sense. Cause I even remember one of the first times we talked, you had a post talking about how you were disappointed in your career before 2024, but you've really, to your point, caught this gust of wind, I believe was the operative wording. So I would say that that's probably just like the next hurdle for you to overcome. And it seems like your broader efforts speak to that and everything like that. So yeah, I guess it's just kind of fitting within that global contender context is the next hurdle for you, eh?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've always been proud of my foresight. I've kind of seen the what needs to be done, and whether until recently I might have not been doing everything I could to get here. A lot of lessons learned. Like I said, that trial by fire. It's been fun, but I wouldn't recommend it. And it's not how I coach my guys. There's strategy, and there's a lot to it that I've learned to understand as opposed to just jumping in. Mind you, back there wasn't much of an option for and yeah. So like my nephew as well, like we just doing the thing, and we'll see where it goes. But yeah, no, it's. I mean, I'm not too worried about. And I think that was the problems, not problems, I should say, but just one of my concerns with, I guess, BKFC. They're really looking for a superstar, and I just don't really have the urge to have 100,000 followers. I want to do the thing, but
Hmm.
I just they want me doing this, they want me doing that, and I don't have a problem doing the interviews. Like I love doing this stuff. I know I dropped the ball with the last show. I missed some footage I was supposed to get, and I think they might have been sad about that. I, I just I just don't live that world. I just don't live online. And I'm proud of that. I
Hmm.
feel that that's really what we're meant to do. And so and I'm not, I'm doing the thing, like with the acting too and the fighting. I'm doing it because I want to do it. And blessed be if I can be a world champ, I get there. That's the goal. That's what I plan on doing. But as far as like the outcomes of it financially or the I don't know, all of that is outside of my control, so I don't really think about it. I'm grateful for all the opportunities that everything's come. And when they say about the money, like the money's been pretty good this last little year. I think I've made more money this last year than I did my 17, 16 prior years in total. Right. And so it's like, that's great, but I wasn't ever focused on the money. And like I said, it's until I started just doing the thing the best I could do it, then the money was coming. And I think that's going to apply to everything in life. Just focus on what the task at hand, be the best you can be, right, in all these situations, and yeah, the opportunities they come.
No, I love that, man. And it's just a very exciting chapter in the career. And good on you for being authentic. I mean, if you don't want to engage in that piece and it would be disingenuous, then yeah, you need to live your authentic life. And clearly you're doing that. And it's, paying off in big ways. A very exciting fight coming up here. And to your point, you get to do the thing. And a lot of people are going to be very excited to see you do the thing coming up in Foxwoods there. But just figured I'd give you the floor, Taylor, if you had any kind of final parting thought you maybe wanted to add as we're wrapping up here. I appreciate you coming on Bare Knuckle Bowker once again, man.
Yeah, yeah, no, thank you for having me. The world has been awfully crazy lately, so I'm very happy to be able to I guess channel my frustrations into this bout. I don't really fight with emotion or anything, but it's just that's just how this works, and it's I'm really blessed to be able to be fighting because it's a blessing that I get to engage with fellow warriors and have that output, have that, I guess, in a sense, a climax of sorts that allows me to channel a lot of this, I guess, negative tension, man, because geez, the world is a crazy place right now. So with saying that, I'd like to just, send love and prayers out to everybody who's needing them. Um, Chaos, my elders, they've often said that hard times are coming. And I just want to stress the importance of community and connection because those hard times, I feel like I would agree that they're coming if they're not already here. And so, just want to, I guess, throw that out and just say, find your community, find your space, help your people, help each other, and live live strong.
No, it's a beautiful parting thought, man. And just, yeah, I think it really speaks to like just the kind of communal support that you just really seem to be passionate about. Like you really seem to love to give back to those around you. So a beautiful sentiment to end things off on, man. And again, to reiterate, super stoked for this BKB 52 fight coming up here and Bubba McDaniel, quality opponent March 28th. And yeah, just super stoked to hear about the multi-fight deal component as well. But thanks so much again for coming on Bare Knuckle Bowker. Taylor, you enjoy the rest of your night there and looking forward to checking out the fight when it goes down also.
Yeah, thank you for having me once again, man. It's always a pleasure. Hi, hi.